Hi, caregivers. It's Molly Connor Hall. I am an occupational therapist with Valley Health, and today I'm going to be talking about self-regulation. I know life can be very stressful. In particular, this year, 2020, has been very stressful for many. And today I want to give you some tips and strategies for self-regulation that you can hopefully use for yourself and with your children. So to get started, I wanted to share a quote from Vincent van Gogh. He said, "Let's not forget that the little emotions are the great captains of our lives, and we obey them without realizing them." I want you to take a moment to think about how you are feeling right now. Are you feeling calm, which is maybe helping you to focus on this video, or are you maybe worried about something that is also distracting you? Our self-regulation can really impact the things we need and want to do during our day. So another example is if you are having a day where you have good level of self-regulation and you misplace your car keys on your way out the door, you might take a moment and calmly think about where you last saw your car keys, or you might ask somebody to help you find the car keys. Versus a day that you have an important meeting to go to that you're maybe stressed out about, you might not be able to calmly think about where you last saw your car keys, and you might snap at someone asking them for help to find your car keys. So, what I hope you take away from this today is I hope you have a better understanding of what self-regulation is. I hope you know how to identify changes in your self-regulation. We're going to talk about level of alertness and how that impacts self-regulation and just being aware of those changes and using tools and strategies to promote appropriate self-regulation. So, self-regulation, what is it? Self-regulation is monitoring, changing, and controlling one's level of alertness, their emotions, attention, and behaviors. Appropriate self-regulation is the ability to regulate in different situations. Self-regulation involves three neurological components. The first is sensory processing, which is the nervous system being able to receive and respond to sensory stimuli. So I have a picture of a baby playing in some paints. A child that is appropriately receiving and responding sensory stimuli may not be bothered by the smell and the feeling of the paint, and they would be able to maintain self-regulation while they play in the paint, versus someone that is maybe hypersensitive to the feeling and the smell of the paint. It would be difficult to maintain self-regulation while they're playing with the paint. Another component is executive functioning. This is the control of thoughts and actions, and it involves shifting attention, working memory, internalizing speech, having flexible thinking, planning ahead, and impulse control. And the last component is emotional regulation. So this is our ability to control our emotional reactions. So we are going to talk a little bit more about self-regulation and levels of alertness. So the top left, we have somebody that has low level of alertness. They look tired. Other feelings that we might feel in a low level of alertness is are feeling bored, feeling sick, and feeling sad. So when we're in a low level of alertness, this would be appropriate when, getting ready for bed, or reading, winding down at the end of the night and maybe reading a book. But this would be a hard level of alertness to be in if we wanted to take a test or driving. The next one in the top right is what we sometimes call like that just right level of alertness, where we're feeling happy, calm, relaxed. This is a time that we can feel focused. The bottom two pictures are where we're starting to increase in our level of alertness. So the bottom left is maybe when we're feeling excited. Um, we might also start to maybe get frustrated in this level of alertness or feel worried or bothered by something. This is an appropriate level of alertness when we're doing something fun like going to a concert or a pep rally. But again, this is going to be difficult to be in this level of alertness when we need to focus on something like taking a test or driving. The last one is when we're in a really high level of alertness. This might be when we're really super excited about something, like if we found out we were going on vacation. But we also might be feeling angry or really scared in this level of alertness. So now I'm going to share a piggy bank analogy. This is one of my favorite analogies to use when we're thinking about self-regulation. So if we think about our body and mind like a piggy bank, on days that we have good self-regulation, we have lots of change to pull from. So when something stressful comes up, like not being able to find those car keys, we can use that cognitive strategy of thinking about where we saw our car keys last, or asking somebody to help us, maybe taking a deep breath before we look for those car keys. But on days where, we are having difficulty with self-regulation, we have less change in that in our piggy bank to pull from. So the strategies that I just mentioned, we had a full piggy bank and we were able to pull some change to use those strategies, versus those days where we don't have a lot of change. It's hard to pull from. So the good news is that there are strategies that we can use to put more change in our piggy bank, and we can do that in the moment. When we're feeling maybe frustrated or stressed, we can use a strategy, or when we anticipate that something is going to be challenging in our day, we can do a strategy before that to put more change in our piggy bank. So one strategy that I really like using is deep breathing. Michaela Rock is another OT, and we did a presentation that you can check out on mindfulness and deep breathing. And I'm just including some fun activities that encourage deep breathing, like blowing bubbles, blowing pinwheels or whistles, and making a game with tissue paper and cotton balls, blowing tissue paper and cotton balls into a goal. These are all ways that we can make deep breathing a little fun with our kids. Another strategy is just to take a break from things. Find a comfy area. You can have a beanbag chair or maybe a tent with some cool lighting. A sleeping bag filled with stuffed animals is another nice little comfy area. During a break, we can read a book, watch a movie, or listen to some calming music. Movement is another great strategy. Doing yoga, swinging, climbing, rocking on a rocking chair, jumping on a trampoline, or going for a walk. Those are all great movement activities to help us with our self-regulation. And another strategy is using visuals and communication strategies. So, and the top strategy is the zones of regulation, which is one of my favorite programs for talking about self-regulation, and I would encourage everyone to check that out. This is a really great visual to talk about how you're feeling. And for kids, sometimes it can be hard to verbally communicate how we're feeling, so using a visual to describe our feelings can be really useful. Below that is a picture of first and then. And this is a great visual to use, but it's also a great verbal strategy too. So you can put a picture of what first needs to be done, and then try to have something that's rewarding for then. So you would say, first we have to clean up, and then we can go outside. So it helps the child understand what they have to do, and then they see that they get to do something rewarding afterwards. And another visual is using a visual schedule. So this can help a child anticipate what they are going to be doing, which can really help with self-regulation. So just to wrap up, self-regulation again helps us do what we need and want to do. It's good to pay attention to your level of alertness because that does really impact your self-regulation. And going back to that piggy bank analogy, we can use strategies to promote self-regulation. So I would encourage you to think about how you can use these strategies throughout the day. So, if you're doing some virtual learning from home and you know that math is really difficult, think about some strategies that you can use before that math class to help your piggy bank be full of change for that class. Or again, if you know that math is really challenging and there's a challenging problem during the math class, take a break and try a strategy to put some more change in our piggy bank. And then these are just my references. I used a lot from the Zones of Regulation. And again, I would encourage you to check that out. That's a great program. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope that this presentation was beneficial for you.